It's been years since I first stepped into Hallownest, and somehow, I still haven't left. There are a lot of games that I've played. Many have genuinely blown me away, and some have truly stuck with me throughout the years. But Hollow Knight changed me. Back around 2018, towards the end of the year, I decided to buy Hollow Knight on a whim. The art style immediately impressed me, the music was hauntingly beautiful, and the world looked like something I wanted to lose myself in. I was fresh out of high school, just a college student trying to enjoy new games and new adventures. I hadn't heard much about Hollow Knight outside of a few Nintendo Directs and word of mouth, but that almost made it more exciting. My head was filled with the idea of a simple but lovely Metroidvania, the kind of game I could play once or twice, move on from, and just feel glad I got to be the one to experience another indie darling. But after playing it, I hated it. The game started strong for me with this magical introduction to a strange fallen kingdom, but the wonder quickly gave way to frustration. I was awful at the game. I constantly died in the first 2 or 3 areas, irritation building with every lost run. I'd grind Geo, trying desperately to upgrade, only to lose it all again. I was hopelessly lost at every corner, no idea where to go, no idea what I was doing wrong. Bosses that looked incredible on the surface became walls I slammed into again and again. I died more times in the fungal wastes than I'd care to admit. And Hornet. Hornet was the actual brick wall that I mentioned, and just a reminder of how unprepared I was. I didn't play many difficult games at the time, and I want to avoid sounding like the stereotypical game journalist who can't beat Cuphead. But the truth is, I didn't know what it meant to fight, fail, and then slowly, but surely, improve. Hollow Knight is just like Dark... Hollow Knight sat in my library, collecting digital dust for years, but during that time, my gaming world expanded. I played Celeste, a deceptively brutal platformer that forced me to learn patience, to embrace failure, and to find joy in persistence. Around the same time, I picked up Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne. I played Dark Souls 3 with a friend, but I played Bloodborne entirely by myself. Much like Hollow Knight, Bloodborne fascinated me. Its world, its atmosphere, its mysteries. I loved the Victorian architecture and the H.P. Lovecraftian art style and monster design. But all of this in practice, it crushed me. I died over and over, unable to even beat the first 2 bosses. I farmed blood echoes, hoping brute force would get me through, but instead I just repeated the same cycle. Death, frustration, retreat. Once again, I was stuck in this loop, loving hard games from afar, but never breaking through and enjoying the real meat of these games. But after endless trial and error, I slowly made my way through Bloodborne. And not only that, I 100%ed it. It became one of my proudest gaming milestones, not because I suddenly felt good at hard games, but because I proved to myself that persistence mattered. Every death taught me something, every setback chipped away at the impossible. By the time the credits rolled, I knew I wasn't the same player who quit Hollow Knight years ago, and without even realizing it, I gathered everything I needed to return to Hallownest for a second time. And this time, I was ready. Descending back into Hallownest for the second time, things were different. felt a genuine sense of growth. Areas I struggled in were not even close to an issue. I used to get hopelessly lost and struggled against bosses that kicked my teeth in, but I ended up beating every boss up until Mantis Lords on my first try. Hornet didn't skill check me, I skill checked Hornet. Navigation was a cinch, and if I ever did get lost, instead of complaining and getting frustrated, I embraced it. I explored the world in its every corner, and enjoyed the feeling of being lost. It was here I beat Mantis Lords after only 2 tries. The fight itself and the additional movement only made me fall deeper into enjoying this game. The fight with Mantis Lords is like a really well choreographed dance. It's genuinely such a rush the first time and the 100th time. Getting a no-hit here feels so satisfying, even if it isn't the hardest fight in the game. But once the familiar locations and enemies were through, it was all new. Every area from here on, every boss, every song, new and unfamiliar. This is what I would consider the true breakthrough for me. Entering the City of Tears was special. The sight of what once was a busy city filled with life, descending into this bleak, rainy, depressing shell of what it once was oddly comforting. The areas I had known Hallownest for having at this point were much different. They felt hidden and tucked away, but this city stood on its own to me. It was calling to me. It stood proud in its earlier years, and despite all the wear and tear, it was still standing proud. The song for the City of Tears, simply just called City of Tears, is one of my favorite songs from this game's soundtrack. Christopher Larkin, you made an amazing soundtrack for this game, but you outdid yourself here. I remember sitting at my desk genuinely floored. This song also adds more to itself as you progress throughout the city, and each time new elements were added or taken away depending on how further in or further away you get. It only just amplified my admiration for Hollow Knight. There's even a room where you can actually meet the ghost of the singer who's singing this melody for City of Tears, and it's tucked away in the pleasure house. It's a really, really amazing detail, and I'm pretty sure that this character is made by someone from one of the backers. What a beautiful role to fill for this lovely game. While on a side tangent, there is a mod that also shows what a more bustling City of Tears would have looked like, even if just for a moment, and it's stunning. I went on, and with this newfound motivation, I did finish the game. I got lost, I explored, and died quite a bit, but seeing the credits roll for the first time really sat with me. I didn't think I'd ever turn around and see the magic that was Hollow Knight. Fighting Grimm for the first time, exploring the world of Hallownest in areas like Queen's Garden and Green Path, to just seeing the Radiance, all kept setting a new high and breaking it each and every time. This game has some insanely well-designed boss fights. Grimm specifically stood out to me, being a fight that is less of a fight and more of a spectacle where you just so happen to be in danger. Plus, Grimm has one of my favorite boss designs, especially with Nightmare King Grimm. I mean, look at them. But while the intense sides of the world were great, every new bench I found was a way for me to sit down and truly reflect. A way to see a snapshot of Hallownest's stillness. It's beautiful. I didn't just play Hollow Knight. I grew alongside it, and that growth has stayed with me long after I put the controller down. Sure, Bloodborne and Celeste really were games that truly put me on the path to play Hollow Knight again and give it another chance. But unlike Celeste and unlike Bloodborne, this game has stuck with me long after. Hallownest isn't a place I visited once, just to prove I could beat it. It's a world I keep returning to. I've earned every achievement, learned speedrun strats, practiced hitless runs, and most importantly, I still get lost. Even after exploring every corner, I find new reasons to wander. The music, the sound design, the art, everything feels endlessly worth appreciating. This was once a game I only admired from the distance, wishing I can get lost in it just once. Now, I wish I could erase my memories just to experience it for the first time again, because it's been years since I first ascended into Hallownest, and somehow, I know I'll never truly leave.